Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Renowned Explorers, More to Explore. I started this adventure after the first expedition. I wanted to start recording after because I did a bit of restarting. I wanted to get a certain combination of things occurring. So, let's talk about what we're doing today. Today, we're playing Captain Victor Signac maybe, I don't know. Plus 50% gold from encounter, plus 5 renown from each encounter token. This guy is the same thing as Maria, except he buffs the gold side of the encounter token rather than the status side. This idea was suggested by Igor Sukhanov, or at least an idea similar to this. Take Victor, focus on gold, do both 5-star expeditions. I think it's a cool idea. We're gonna see what we can do with it. So, I picked this crew. Victor obviously is the centerpiece of the whole thing. We'll be using his campfire story, which we have in our hand, to unlock the ability to do our expeditions one level earlier. We'll be hitting the Lost Island as our 4th expedition, and Shangri-La as our 5th expedition, I think is the plan. Because I do think the Lost Island is easier, even though it is by no means easy. Earl is present because of his campfire story, which we have played, which increases the renown received from gold, and also just he's a good contributor, you know, he's a survivalist, he's an engineer, he's got a big gun, he's got a stun, he's a useful dude. And finally, Hildegard, because I believe, from my personal experience, suggests that the most important perk set to have built up to take advantage of what you have available to you on the Lost Island is Naturalist, and the most important perk set to have built up to take advantage of what you can get out of Shangri-La is Diplomat. Hildegard is the only person who has both of those things, and I wanted to have both of them on one person so she can be the one we're rainbowing onto. As you've probably noticed in the last couple of runs, even when we're rainbowing, we're trying to get as many different things on somebody as possible. It still behooves us to get up to like 4 or 5 in 2 different things because of the way the specialists work now, where they reward the extra tokens after you hit either a 4th rank of something. So, Hildegard's going to be our rainbow target. We're building up her Naturalist and her Diplomat. Naturalist is more important to push right away because, like I said, we're going to the Lost Island first. And we got lucky and got the free perk event that gives you a Naturalist perk on the first island. That's not one of the things I was resetting for. It's just kind of a nice coincidence. What was I resetting for? I'm glad you asked. First of all, making sure that we got Earl's story early. And it's nice to have Earl's story and have Victor's in hand. And then also, to get this treasure, Celtic Horned Helmet, plus research from Encounter. We are going way deep on encounter tokens, obviously. This is going to help us with this strategy here. So the first thing we're going to do after the next expedition, the first thing we're going to do with our research is unlock all of anthropology. Bam. We are doing a gold focus run and we will be getting engineering next, but I actually think with Victor and Maria, it seems to me, I've done a little bit of napkin math, that anthropology actually gives you more renown. Even not counting the plus 25 renown whenever you solve an encounter in a certain attitude, just the renown you get from the extra tokens is more than you would get from the extra gold, the extra renown from gold, over the course of that 3rd expedition. So we'll go Anthropology. We're already at 167 research, and we're going to be doing the Caribbean next instead of Mali. Despite the fact that generally on a gold focus run you would go to Mali because that's where all the gold is. There's a fair amount of gold in the Caribbean, and there's also quite a lot of access to discovery tokens. And we want to hit some more discoveries to really try to power up Earl's thing. Earl's campfire story. So, we have 167 research now, which is almost enough to unlock a tree by itself. After the Caribbean, I think we'll have enough to unlock all of anthropology, hit the engineering opener for the tool, and hit effective equipment. It would be cool if we could also get hidden compartments. After that, we're going to hit Egypt, and then the Lost Island, and then Shangri-La. It is a brutal path, and there's a pretty good chance that we'll just lose the game. Just run flat out of resolve before we get done. Alright, so let's spend our resources that we're spending. We're going to be actually focusing on aggression. And part of the reason for that is that there's a treasure in the Caribbean that you get from the Titan Ape if you beat him aggressively that can give you extra encounter tokens from aggression. We're really hoping to get that. And also, this crew is just very well suited for it, even though it's not Hildegard's primary thing. I do wish that that was, gold or collect tokens, but we'll do. We'll make do. We'll be all right. All right, so we want to buy a machete for Hildegard. There's an event that's pretty common in the Caribbean where you climb a tree and then you can get a bunch of different options. And there's one for being a level 1 naturalist and one for being a level 1 athlete, and they both award a treasure. So I think that it's worth doing for that. Another reason that the Caribbean is great for this strategy is that the Caribbean pool contains a discovery token, the Caribbean treasure bonus pool. We have a little bit extra money. What do I want to do with it? Earl has navigation already, so we don't need to do this. We could... This doesn't really do anything. Yeah, I don't think that buying one of those is worthwhile. Let's just buy some armor, I guess, for her. Okay. That should be fine. Whatever helps her pass the challenges, right? Raw stat points are valuable. And, of course, we just bank on all of our research. So if we get lucky, we could get quite a number of discovery tokens here. I'm on 2 discovery tokens already. So 6% extra renown from gold. I don't know exactly how far we'll be able to push this, but I bet it's pretty far. Okay, let's shoot some guys in the face, yeah. I feel like we've been doing a lot of shooting guys lately. You know, this is a game about the freedom to resolve encounters in the way that you want to resolve them. There's a strong element of sort of narrative freedom, even if... Not narrative choice, but narrative freedom, if you understand the difference. But it seems like I'm just using that narrative freedom to shoot people in the face. Do you think that says something about me? Okay, see, this makes me feel better. That pirate just tried to kill a 14-year-old girl with a sword. I have no qualms now about the thing that I'm about to do. Take that, she was just trying to show you some close-up magic. What's wrong with you? And why, of the 3 available targets, would you decide, oh, I'd better stab that young girl? That pirate got everything she had coming to her. Sorry, smuggler. Hildegard, why don't you look for some natural oddities? Also, being a naturalist on this island is just great. So we're going to make sure we're going way out of our way to hit encounters. Encounter tokens are so valuable. Okay, Victor wants someone who doesn't get lost to lead and a strong individual to take up the rear. Well, Earl is the one who's least likely to get lost with his survivalism, and in fact, navigation in particular. And who will take up the rear end? You know, she's strong. Hildegard will do it. Oh no, Hildegard went missing. Let's try to find her. Okay. Meanwhile, Hildegard encounters a blue monkey and must fight it for some reason. Although, actually, the fact that she must fight it for some reason is way less silly than the fact that you could potentially resolve this problem by talking to the monkey. I guess you could pull like a Jane Goodall thing. That's the idea. Take this. That's what I think of you. Psst, I don't need speech defense. What do I look like? Some kind of guy who's afraid of monkeys? I'm not even going to apply any strategy. I'm just going to stand here and shoot you with fireworks. So, like, what's the story there? Does she have actual magic? Or is that like a very small Roman candle concealed in the wand or something? Okay, so that was, you know, that was an okay encounter. Let's take this free trip over here. It doesn't reveal anything tremendously interesting. Let's hit this and then come back up. Let's try to reveal a lot of nodes here. Oh. Hildegard has the ability to challenge Tommy to a game of strength and probably even win? Yeah, alright. A wrestling match. After a fierce struggle, Hildegard manages to take Tommy out of the ring, drawn in the sand. That is impressive, considering, you know, the relative difference in their stature and everything. You know, Hildegard's got skills. There's no two ways about that. Okay, an upside-down old fishing boat. Hildegard, catch some fish, maybe. For some reason, catching a fish only awards a campaign token. I guess we'll regale the fish with stories about how great we are, and then we'll release it back into the ocean. It will tell everybody else. All the other fish, I mean. Let's tip this boat over. Oh no, there's a skeleton beneath the boat. Who would have thought? Let's steal all of its stuff. It doesn't... Listen, a skeleton doesn't need a necklace. Don't look at me like that. Stop judging. This is interesting. So like I said, we'd love to make sure that we get... If we get enough study to hit the treasure hunt token from all treasures research paper, that's way more valuable than just getting one treasure hunt now. That's an extra treasure hunt token for every treasure that we encounter over the next expedition. Because obviously at the end of that expedition we would definitely be able to get it. Alright. Read the piece of paper. It has a combination on it for the safe that is in the treehouse in case we encounter that, which is good because I don't have the skills necessary to open the safe the normal way. Alright, Cheer also heals Hildegard is one of my favorite skills in the whole game. And we are gonna fight so many monkeys while we're here. I don't know how... Listen, I don't want to be a stickler for realism or anything. This is a game that has mummies, and at one point you can fight the incarnation of a god if you want. But I'm saying, how is anybody impressed by the fact that we ended up fighting a lot of monkeys? When we take this information back to London, we're totally going to get renown. But, like, how, man? I don't understand how. It's possible that people in the Renowned Explorers universe are just very easily impressed, as a rule. I bet that monkey doesn't even care that he stinks like cheese. My suspicion, based on having been around monkeys once or twice, is that they have no compunction about smelling terrible. Not even something that crosses their mind. I didn't notice that there were 3 more monkeys over there. I thought we were almost done with the battle. There's kind of a lot of enemies for such an early expedition. That's alright, we'll have a turn to sit over here and recharge after we take this guy down. So Hildegard has the same weird split of abilities as Kwame does, where she only has one ability that's full power, but she has 100% hit on her weak Terrify and 100% damage on her inaccurate attack. Which, you know, makes her fairly versatile, just not as good at being versatile as somebody like Harry, who just has 3 great attacks. So we want to stay devious. Obviously, we want that extra token. Question is, what else am I doing here? Nope, I don't want to push him over into Impressed, obviously. I guess we'll just cheer him, because there's no particular reason to do any of the other stuff we have available to us here. So I like that we have access to a nice, strong Encourage. I think I made my feelings about that known last time. Encourage is very powerful. Uh-oh. Are we actually going to lose a point of resolve here? Okay, no. The monkeys took pity on us. Ooh. Alright. Well, I can't just blow them all up. That would definitely ruin my, all my hard work here. But we do need to make sure that we get these cleared out pretty quickly so that they don't kill Earl. You know what, let's do this. Let's use a friendly attack to blow this guy out so that we can use Victor to deny access to Earl. Because the monkeys can attack 2 spaces, and so if we let the monkey run up to Hildegard, he might be able to drop Earl through her. I can just imagine Hildegard trying to protect Earl's fragile sensibilities, diving in front of the insults. This is another thing that's probably less effective when you have such a small stature. Alright. Ah, yes, and of course Earl's crew story. I have not seen whatever cool thing you can do with Earl's crew story. I assume that it has to do with... Oh, that was lucky. I assume that it has to do with, Oh, why can't I words today? I assume that it has to do with engineering. Somebody has to be have a couple levels of engineer on them to really appreciate Earl's inventions. So this is kind of interesting. We want to play the veteran, but we don't actually need to play it right now. Obviously, I'd like to hold renowned researchers. I think this is going to be worth 450 points for us because of the research stuff we have going on. Etiquette course is not exciting, but the thing we skipped here was etiquette. So we could take etiquette and start working toward our goal of having like 5 points in both naturalist and diplomat. We could take the mentor thing. If we have Earl mentor, I don't think we're going to get an exchange of perks from having Earl mentor Hildegard, but maybe. The choose one crew member to gain stuff on certain kinds of rules is not very exciting on Earl. At least, what's his face? At least Victor has tactician, right? And I'd be way more concerned about it if it gave tokens of a type we care about. You know, encounter tokens or collect tokens or something. This seems pretty weak. I think I'm going to do Mentor Explorer just for the chance. No, I'm doing Mentor Explorer for a chance that we might get a perk when I can just do this and definitely get a perk. Yeah, this feels kind of weak, but we're doing a particular thing here. Okay, so Hildegard is on... she's like halfway to having 10 relevant perks, right? Yeah, I don't think we want to hold her story. Alright, so... we wrap around here, we'll trade a point of resolve for some supplies when we get there. A ruined Spanish fort. You get discovery tokens if you hit this. Ooh. Ah, we're actually not that good at getting through this fort. Oh no, you know what? In order to get the discovery tokens, you have to be like a level 3 or 4 engineer. I know we can't get it. So what am I looking at here? 4 tokens against 2 supplies, or walk around it for -1 supplies. Neither one of those things is very good. We're gonna walk around it, but this means we're taking a hunger penalty at the end of this node. Oh look, it's some more monkeys. There are so many monkeys in this game. Alright, so we have some reasonable AoE with this party. Obviously, Victor has Peace Treaty, which can be very useful sometimes. And we have both Experimentation and the stun from Earl. Alright, we gotta devious out one of these monkeys here so that we can end the turn in an advantageous attitude. Have to make sure the monkey drops, otherwise we're not going to get our turnover, so... I have to say, I'm a little bit concerned that I may be trying to jam too much different stuff into a single run. That's totally possible. And like I said, I don't think it's at all guaranteed that we're going to be successful here. But it does seem like a cool idea. My other concern is that it may be wrong, even if you have the ability to go for a second 5-star. It might not be right to do so, just because so much of the value of your play comes from the stacking of your perks on your crew members and things like. I don't know that the payouts, with the exception of, say, the Living Crystal, which can have a very high renown value, I don't know if the payouts for stuff on the Lost Island are especially better than the payouts, like, in Hungaria or on the Emerged Island. I think a lot of the value of those places comes from the fact that you have 4 expeditions of development by the time you get to them. You know? I don't know. I might not be wrong. I might be feeling something that isn't true, because that's what happens when you... That's what happens when you decide on something because you feel like it might be true. Alright, so we should be perfectly fine. 9-2 looks pretty bad, but when we swap moods from devious to aggressive, we should see a pretty sharp change in these values. It's too late for you, monkey. If you wanted to defeat us, you had to get here a lot earlier. So where's he at health-wise? Okay, he has a lot. Let's see if we can land an Enrage first. Not very damaging, that Enrage. Okay, so this should tip us over, and then we go from 9-6 to... Oh no, 9-6 was the values after the change, apparently, huh? Wow, we might actually totally whiff on our research token. Wouldn't be the end of the world, but it's kind of embarrassing. Yep, 2 devious. Even switching moods was not enough. Spent too much time being devious. Alright, Victor loses some armor. That's not the end of the world. Oh, Earl, please get it. It would be so nice not to have to eat another penalty here. Oh, you didn't get it. Damn it. Alright. And of course we lose speech power. Okay, obviously we have to do that. Everything here requires 50 gold. I don't think I want to make another purchase. Man, do I? I'm definitely going to go 1, 2, 3. No. No, let's just go. No, I'm not being the bigger person. I'm not a bigger person than a monkey. I said that. My tone was like, as though it's an obvious insult, but I really don't see how that could be. Okay, what are we doing here? These weak monkeys suck. It's just that Hildegard also sucks. Thanks, hunger penalties. I do think that the hunger penalties could use a little balance pass, just because it's so much worse to take a penalty to an offensive stat than a defensive stat. And it feels a little bit strange to me that there are 2 different outcomes to that event, and you have no control over which one of them happens. 2 different types of outcomes, I mean. And you have no control over which one of them happens, and there's such a gulf between the 2. And it's kind of a bummer. I don't have a problem with randomness in video games. There's a lot of people who don't like randomness, who have a... It's easy to have a feeling that something is being unfair to you when it's random, right? I'm sure we've all had that experience. Feeling like you are being, maybe cheated's not the right word, but sort of. Feel like you're being cheated by a game because it's conspiring, it's doing bad stuff to you on purpose, And it's just a streak of bad dice rolls, really. But it's very difficult for humans to really come to terms with that idea, the idea of randomness. We want to see patterns and narratives in everything, and so, you know, we miss 90% chance to hit attacks in a row in Darkest Dungeon, and we're like, oh, the game, the AI, the narrator has turned on me, and some sort of horrible evil is afoot here. And when you put it the way I just put it, it's plainly ridiculous on its face, but in the moment it feels like a real thing that could be happening. I'm not immune to that. Listen, I don't know if you guys know what Blood Bowl is. Anybody on the channel who knows what Blood Bowl is will totally get what I'm talking about here. But Blood Bowl is a fantastic game, I think. I really, really like it. But it is super random, and sometimes you can do everything right and just lose. You know, and this is also the case in a lot of other games that people have maybe more respect for. Poker. Poker's a good example of this. Some hands, you're just going to lose some hands. Like, sometimes you play your cards the best you can possibly play them, and then you lose. You lose the hand, and there's nothing you could have done. And I don't really... It feels bad in the moment when it happens, but I don't really think it's a problem from a game design standpoint. Sometimes you're going to have a bad experience. I think that can be totally justified as long as it's not the average experience. As long as it's not... I was going to say, as long as it's not the thing you remember, sort of the common aggregate of your experiences. But that's actually totally not within the game designer's control. Man, these monkeys are just, like, slightly too tough. So I think randomness can be valuable in a game. It can help your player to make decisions in a way that is different than the way they would normally make them. And it turns out that it's often the case that if you leave people to their own devices and give them a bunch of choices, they'll just make the same decisions over and over and over again. And that's not necessarily fun. People are not always good at finding the fun in a thing. Sometimes, as a game designer, you have to help them, coax them toward the fun a little bit. So I think that this game has a kind of randomness that I can enjoy, which is like randomness that you can prepare for. Right? Blood Bowl's another good example of this, I think. At the end of the day, you're rolling those dice, right? And you're gonna roll a power, you're gonna roll a skull, but you can do things to goose the odds in your favor a little bit, right? This is not really very good, I think. Actually, I should do the math. The item shops are like 50, 100, 150 to upgrade. Or the core item shop is, and then the others are probably just... The others only have 2 upgrade levels. I can't remember if they're 50, 100, or 100, 150. But even if they're 100, 150, this saves 125 on upgrading each of the side shops, and then 150 on upgrading the main shop, so this is like get 400 gold. Yeah, I think this is better. Earl's gonna be carrying us a little bit. He's gonna be the supreme aggressive force. Ooh. Okay. So we can take the artifact now, get some insight, or we could get 5 study off of it. Eventually, a point of insight will be worth a lot more than 5 study to us. I think that's worth doing. I think we're going to be okay. We have 14 study tokens already, plus a discovery, plus 13 encounter tokens, each of which gives the same amount of research as a study token. Yeah, we're going to be alright. We're also totally eating a hunger penalty here. Because we're going to go to this one, or we're going to go here first. Alright. Let's follow that shadow. A giant ape leaps out of the forest and tries to punch Hildegard, and she stalwartly parries the blow. It's remarkable what this machete has allowed her to do. She's wrestling huge dudes, taking punches from giant movie monster monkeys. This is just crazy. It's crazy talk. Alright, so we're just going to open up on these monkeys. There's no particular reason to play this one clever. We do not want the treasure that you get for being friendly here. We want the one that comes from being aggressive. So we're going to do this in the most straightforward way possible. Okay, so on the subject of the random number generator, part of the reason that I enjoyed Darkest Dungeon as much as I did is because it does have this kind of randomness, right? There's at the end of the day, you're going to roll the dice and something's going to happen, and you don't have 100% perfect control of that for a number of reasons. There's nothing you can do to guarantee a hit. All of the swings in the game cap out, I believe, at 95% chance to succeed. I'm pretty sure that's the case. No matter what you have as far as bonuses and stuff, you're never guaranteed a hit. And I actually think that Darkest Dungeon goes way out of its way to give you tools to adjust how often you are actually in practice going to hit. It's a little hard to see like how the spaces are arrayed behind him. Man, this is going to take forever. We do not have enough aggression yet. The one benefit to taking Victor's crew story early would have been that he gets his rapier when you take it, and his rapier might have been a valuable tool here. Ouch. Yeah, but Darkest Dungeon gives you enough tools to mitigate the badness. And I feel that this game does kind of a similar job. So if anybody from Abbey Games ever watches this, I hope you take that as the high praise that it is intended to be. So it's tricky to keep this guy enraged. Part of the reason that I didn't push too hard for it is it's just very difficult to do, because every few turns he's going to do that beat my chest, pump up my attitude thing. Oh, we gotta be really careful not to actually seg over into Devious, because he will beat the crap out of us if we do. So I keep distracting myself, and I'm not gonna try to give a full-size lecture about randomness in gaming, although, as an opinionated person who's played a heck of a lot of video games in his life, boy oh boy, do I have feelings on this issue. Get him, Hildegard. I'll just say, I don't think randomness is a bad thing. There are a lot of games that have significant random elements. They're still great skill-testing games. If you are a person who plays board games, you may be familiar with some of these. I'm thinking off the top of my head, a game that has a significant element of randomness. One significant element of randomness that does not detract from its quality as a skill-testing game at all is Dominant Species, if you're familiar. Where the biggest random elements are huge in impact, but they're visible like a turn to a turn and a half before they have any impact on the board. So you have all this time to say, this is what's coming, what can I do to prepare for it? Can we get him this turn? I think maybe. Also, I get to do this, which is fun. Alright, Victor, come on. Oh, Victor doesn't quite finish him. I'm at 19 points. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna do this. If it brings him down friendly, it won't generate enough friendly points to push me off of aggressive. Okay. Now Victor's got him. And hey, we managed to get through that without even losing any renown. Okay, here's hoping for a good result on the treasure. We're looking for extra encounter tokens from being aggressive. Awesome. Awesome. So now we've got extra tokens and extra value from the tokens, and Victor and allies around him gain +1 confident each turn, or +1 collect whenever you enter an area with a wits challenge. This is pretty relevant to our interests, obviously. This is a great skill, but I think I'm going to try to trust my ability to manually manage my my moods. And it is worth noting that this does make it tricky to maintain an excited state. which can be a problem sometimes. It's probably not going to be the case very often that we want Hildegard to be confident when she could be excited instead, right? Alright, so extra collect tokens. Seems like a great way to go. Alright. We're going to take a hunger penalty at the end of this. Oh no, we're, yeah, we totally are. I was thinking, oh, if this is the one where you chase the monkeys for the voodoo book, we can get some food on the way. But that's not even this island. That's the emerged island. Alright. Hildegard steals us a treasure. Pretty great. We're getting some bad luck here. Getting a lot of treasure hunts as options instead of discoveries, which is what I was hoping for. But I suppose we do need to hit some treasure hunts because we're gonna need some equipment before we go to Egypt. Egypt is pretty difficult. I would say that it's significantly more difficult than a lot of the other non-final expeditions. I've lost a lot of crews in Egypt. So it gives attack and armor. Well, the only person who doesn't have an armor debuff is Earl. And the armor debuffs subtract a percentage of your max armor. So technically, Hildegard and Victor will get a little bit less armor from this thing than Earl will. Also, plus attack on Earl is fun because he has the great big AoEs, you know. Alright, well we have to hit this before we leave. Well, the crew spends their day relaxing, but then something interesting happens. Victor baffles someone. Strategy is a forgotten science. And then this is going to give a survivalist perk, so I'm actually going to have Earl pick it up, even though I know we're rainbowing on Hildegard. Well, no, I'm going to give it to Hildegard. We're going to follow the strategy here. Caribbean ingredients and flavors from Austria. I don't know what flavors from Austria even... Did we see all the nodes up here? We did. Alright, I just want to try to make sure that we're being fairly thorough. The boss of this area is not the hardest. Oh, the monkeys that we helped earlier are preventing us from fighting all these smugglers. Victor loses attack power. Well, his attack power was... Nope, it looks like it was not already injured. His speech was already injured. Well, that's a shame. There was an encounter over there. But what if it's just the monkeys chasing people off again? I would really like to do more. You know, we're just gonna push forward here. Okay, Victor is pretty good at setting up a camp. Unfortunately, not 100% due to his damage stats. But good enough. So that'll help make up for some of the debuffs we have on us. And Victor follows a trail of golden coins to find a treasure. But then this guy throws a sea mine at you. It's okay, Earl's great at stuff. So yeah, you can see we came away from this with quite a bit of gold, actually. Alright. So he's over here, he's got a gun guy with him. We are surrounded by 3 enemies, but those are the only enemies. So, Earl is currently on 43 attack. Victor's attack is actually lower than Hildegard's. That's how screwed up everything is right now. But he can get this guy. He can get this young lady with the shotgun. Which is a valuable service to the rest of the party, because nobody wants to be shot with one of those things. It doesn't matter. I think these two are statistically identical. The ones with the knives are all the same, and the ones with the guns are all the same, regardless of the fact that some of them have different art. Alright, no way to bring her down in one. We'll just set her up to drop easily next turn. Yeah, so I like the fact that in a game like this, you can't predict exactly what's going to happen when you go out on an expedition. Sometimes you'll get a treasure that's really weird, and it will actually change your strategy. You'll decide to do a different thing than you were going to do. That stuff is really cool. So we can't get anybody adjacent to him. In fact, Hildegard's the only person who can get in range at all. I think what I'm going to do is back off. Hit him with a little bit of this. shotgun guy, I don't think is even going to get close enough to hit us. And we'll just heal a little bit of Hildegard's damage. I just said a couple of minutes ago that there's not really that many reasons that we would want to have Hildegard be confident. And yet here we are, making her confident. That was some dirty pool. How are you going to spawn and attack me in the same turn? Dude has no manners. It's hard to tell. If I put this right in the middle, can I get them both? Nope. Okay. That being the case, then I just need... Actually, the only place I can get a shot is right here. Alright, so the pirate boss here is weak against Enrage, which obviously bodes pretty well for us. Victor is all super fragile right now and can't really hit people. And Hildegard can hit people, just not that well. If we step away from the divider, he's going to have to actually come over to this side of it to fight us, so... I think he probably will actually be able to get in range if he heads up this way. Yeah, get in range of Earl. No, okay, apparently not. Alright, Earl is really kicking ass here. So the Smuggler Captain has a charge-up move that he has not yet used. He may do it at any time here. And it takes them a whole turn to charge it up. That's why they call it a charge-up move. And when I say they, of course I mean I. Yeah, here we go. Him doing that guarantees that none of us are in any actual danger. The shotgun guy cannot hit us hard enough by himself. And as such, guarantees us a victory. Alright. So we made out pretty well on that island. I don't think that we... completely blew it away, but I'm pretty excited about what's going to happen next. We're going to have these really turbocharged encounter tokens. We're going to be getting a ton of them from each encounter. Your current highest level, so we can get more study tokens, which is not terrible. I'm trying to think. If we go Lost Island and then Shangri-La, I think Naturalist is the way I want to go here. Or do I just want to take plus 20 to 25 gold from treasure hunts, actually? I'll be getting a lot of treasure hunts over the course of the game, especially once I've got that, research paper finished. This might actually be the better play. No, let's take this. Let's try to keep the tokens rolling in, shall we? Alright. So, we don't have the best possible skills for for Egypt. We do not have a point of archaeologist, although obviously I could just buy the trowel and broom. We made some gold, not quite as much as I would like. A fair amount of research. I don't know for sure. Let's see here. So we're going to be unlocking the real equipment shops eventually. We may as well go here first. Okay, so research, anthropology, aggressive, yes, aggressive, and aggressive, and take this, and aggressive. Okay, so now, every time we complete an encounter aggressive, we will get 2 additional encounter tokens, plus 1 encounter token from the Amazing Titan, plus a supply, plus 25 renown. And each of our encounter tokens gives us 12 points of research, in addition to 5 renown and, the improved gold. I feel pretty good about this. Let me pick this up, and yes, we do indeed have enough. Yeah, this makes sense. Okay, so We don't quite have our bonus renown from gold coming in, but at the end of the next expedition, we should have quite a lot of money for buying equipment. We don't have as much as I was hoping we would have right now, and also we don't really have enough to buy the cool specialist from the Turkish baths. This specialist right here improves the payout of one of your tokens. I don't think we can get there for cheap. It's going to be 50 and then like 100, and then it's 300 to hire them. So we'd be in the neighborhood of 240. And if I wanted to spend insight to get us up to a point where we could buy, we get 3 tokens at about 12.5 points each. So that's like 37. So we're probably looking at like 3 insight spent to be able to get us that. I think we should just do this instead. Let's just hire some more guys. Actually, what do we have here? What's the first set of these? Is this relevant? Rogue, Merciless. I think Rogue is actually pretty important in Egypt, isn't it? Archaeologist, Athlete, Survivalist, and Rogue. We have a little bit of Athlete and a little bit of Survivalist. We can buy Archaeologist in the shop. Yeah. Alright, let's get a point of Rogue. Okay. Hildegard strikes me as a person who's fairly merciless. Alright, so let's do this. The Trowel and Broom is still good, even though we're going to be focused on a lot of aggression, I think. Yeah, I think it's still good. Because we still are speech attacking people sometimes. So let's shift this onto Victor. It'll be better on him. A lot of things that care about you being an athlete also care about you being a fighter, so... Okay. And then we have a little bit of money left over to upgrade our defenses or something. We could buy a piece of 450 gear, like do this and buy 450 armor. I'm trying to remember how much money it costs to buy the, I think it might be 150 to buy the treasure that you can get from the merchant at the Oasis. So I'm going to go ahead and sell these books. Statistically, they're pretty insignificant. 1 point of attack doesn't matter that much. Alright. Provided we survive Egypt, and we are going in with 5 resolve, I think we should be in a pretty good place. We did not end up getting a lot of discovery tokens. We got really unfortunate rolls, and the discovery tokens just did not come up. We also didn't get the Water of Life encounter, which we actually would have been reasonably okay at. And the Water of Life encounter, of course, drops the treasure that can give you 1 point of... or 1 discovery token for each point of resolve you have left. That would have been really cool. But, you know, we've gotten a 9% bonus so far. Probably, by the end of this expedition, Earl's Campfire Story will have added up to at least as big a bonus as finishing observations or something. Alright, well that's going to be it for this episode. Come back next time. I feel a little under-equipped, but we're going to Egypt, and then from there, directly into the hard stuff. I do not know if this is going to work. I'm actually really nervous. Anyway, come back next time. We'll see you then.